You thought we were done with this. Okay, please don't have traumatic flashbacks. I have been luckily selected to do jury duty. So we're going to see what happens if I'm selected. I may be gone for a little bit. And this is how I'm going to be conducting our classes. For the majority of you, this is really a set and go kind of assignment. Some of you still might need some more ideas. So let's go through our plan for this week. The entry task, I do want to read you this story, The Purple Balloon. You don't need to analyze it. We won't worry about an entry task formally, but I do want you to listen to it and see if you can come up with a theme, see how maybe you could incorporate this in your writing. If you do feel like it's influential, then add it to your bibliography. Speaking of, your bibliography is due. The outline of your draft, that's also known as your writing plan. So the packet I gave you that says who's your protagonist, what point of view, what's your conflict, what's your beginning, middle, and end. That's your outline. It needs to be done tomorrow so that you have enough time to begin writing so that you can start working on your digital version. And the children's digital book, I don't know that I'm going to be able to have more class time than this Friday. I might, but let's not count on that. Remember, drop dead due dates are coming up next Wednesday as well. Okay, so that's our agenda. Here's the announcements. This is another way of looking at our timeline. Is we're going to start actually creating the story and putting that together on Google Classroom. I have a website for you. Let's look over at that. So in the Children's Lit, your bibliography, that's due. Your digital book, if you're ready, I want you to log into Book Creator. This is the code for it, and you can start writing your book. If you want to start writing it in a Google Doc first, great, do that. And copy and paste it into here, you can absolutely do that. If you want to use a different book creator site that you know of that you have access to, that's okay. I picked this one because it's free and there's actually some pretty good examples of other students' work. So this is where we're going, is that if you somehow misplaced your packet, it's in this. So children's literature assignment and rubric. This is the document. It's Creative Writing Children's. This is the document. This is another look at the timeline and process. And then on page 3 starts your writing plan. Your target age group, what's your topic. You can make a story up. It can be fiction or it can be kind of like historical fiction. That's what this is. So I'll give you an example of that as well. So this is what's due. You have stuff to do. Be productive. Okay. I don't know that I can switch gears super well, but I'm going to pause this and let me see if I can find a better way to present this book. Otherwise, I'm going to be holding it up, but I don't want it to be backwards. So give me just a second. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that I can just kind of take up this whole screen and make it bigger. So I'm pretty sure that I can flip this in post-production. So let's see. This is The Purple Balloon by Chris Pashula. And this introduction page is actually very important. It reads, a note about this story. When a child becomes aware of his or her own pending death and is given the opportunity to draw your feelings, he or she will often draw a blue or purple balloon, released and floating free. Healthcare professionals have discovered that this is true regardless of a child's cultural or religious background, and researchers believe that it demonstrates the child's innate knowledge that a part of him or her will live forever. I first heard of this moving and fascinating anecdote from the psychiatrist and author of On Death and Dying, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. It has affected me ever since. Okay. So this book is a children's book, yet it discusses the serious topic of death. No one likes to talk about dying. It's hard work. Dying is hard work. Many people do what they can to make dying not so hard. Nurses, doctors, hospice care workers, clergy, friends, neighbors, brothers, sisters, nephews, nieces, grandchildren, sons, and daughters. When someone dies. When someone dies, it's good to have family. And it's good to have friends. They help you feel better. There is only one thing harder to talk about than someone old dying. Someone young dying. Just as many people need to help. Neighbors and friends and classmates, hospice care workers and nurses, and doctors and therapists, teachers and tutors. Of course, mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and uncles and aunts and cousins and grandparents. All listening or talking, sitting or holding, being noisy or being quiet. Good help makes dying less hard. Good help makes leaving easier. So whether or not you agree or resonate with the topic of this book, what this book is it is an example about how you could use your platform as a children's book to discuss something that is a difficult topic, but you're doing so with language that is geared towards the appropriate target age that you pick. So this one in particular is geared towards younger readers. But I came across this book when I was in college, and I just thought it was beautiful. So now that you're all good and depressed, I want you to think about your story. And as you're writing your story, it should be really evident what the theme is. So if you are following a famous person, what is the theme? What's the idea that their life legacy is, that leaves behind? If you're talking about a particular event in history, is there a lesson that we can learn from that? So as you are going through this setting and thinking about the plot, giving your characters names and complications and setting, because those settings are going to be shown not only with your words, but also in your illustration, so you can think about that as well. Yes, I want you to illustrate that. Okay. So this was your entry task. I'm going to shift gears and remind you of the task at hand. It is to write a children's book and illustrate a children's book. I want you to focus on the story first, but do keep in mind that you can reveal some elements with your pictures, like the setting. You can show your characters as pictures as well. And the theme. What kind of truth about life or people do you wish to convey? And so maybe a character changes or learns something by the end of the story. You can be very explicit in that. Fables in particular have a very specific moral lesson at the end of them. If you walk into the woods and you find a gingerbread house, do not go into it, because you naughty little children who wandered into the woods are going to get eaten. So there's some consequences in fairy tales. But there's also this theme of like family that goes through Hansel and Gretel. Anyway, that was a bad example. So in general, we've already done some preliminary research. You've looked at some of your stuff. If you still need to go find some more and do a Wikipedia search, then you just need to cite that in your bibliography. That's okay. Yes, remember you can work with a partner, but divvy out who's going to do what. So who's going to illustrate, edit, type, put the illustrations together, design the cover. Assembling the book is really going to be in a digital format, so you guys can both work on that. So just so you know, that's what we're looking at right now. You have a fuller period today I would say you should probably be getting done with your outline, starting to write your very first draft today and tomorrow. Okay. If you are not done with this outline by the end of class today, you have homework. So please use your time wisely. If you have questions, please email me as well. I will be able to answer those. TLEGGETT@sheltonschools.org. Okay. Have a good day, guys. Bye.